Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a very special episode of The Void because we're back. It's been a couple of days, and I'm sorry about that. That was not part of the plan, believe me. The past 2 days, I've been in the hospital, and I've been dealing with some pretty serious medical issues. So, my white blood cell count was supposed to be around the three mark. I was sitting at comfortably at my lowest at a 0.4. And then at a 0.5, and then we were at a 0.4, we did a shot, and then we were at a 0.5. And that is scary low. You're not supposed to be that low at all. It means your body is unable to fight any infection when you're that low. So you are at risk of, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, you're at risk of death if you get an infection. Luckily, I was at the hospital. I was at a place where they could treat it if it happened, God forbid, but it didn't. I have good news. I can now report that my white blood cell count is around a 3. We're back up there. My hemoglobin levels are good. I had 2 transfusions. I had a platelet transfusion, and I had a blood transfusion. I didn't know what my blood type was, but now I do. I'm an A positive, A plus, baby, 100%. And now we're back, and I'm feeling 100%. I'm feeling really good. I'm still, I say 100%, but my scales changed, right? I'm cancer 100%. I'm not pre-cancer 100%. I think I'm still a little lightheaded. I'm still a little bit woozy. This whole experience has been a little bit. It wasn't as traumatic as the last time I was in the hospital, but it was a little bit. It was tough, especially because I was planning on having some meetings with my friends, and my friends were going to come into town, and we were going to have a barbecue. We were going to have a great time. And then I got hit with the phone call. They called me up and they said, Eric, you got to head back to the hospital. You got to head back there for a couple days. And it's going to be, we're going to need to do some transfusions. And it was a scary time. I didn't know how my body was going to react to the transfusions. But thank the Lord, everything went well. And I just want the viewers out there or the listeners to know that everything's okay now. And I'm back in fighting shape for the next round of chemotherapy. So, the fight continues, ladies and gentlemen, and that's just how this is going to go. It's going to be good days, it's going to be bad days, it's going to be ups, it's going to be downs, but at the end of the day, you got to get back up, and you got to get back on your horse, and you got to keep riding, and you got to keep fighting, baby. That's how we're going to beat this thing. You just got to keep on going, and it's difficult. It's really hard, but you got to do it. And that's with anything in life, baby. You just got to keep on going. So, really, really happy to be in the hospital. My time in the hospital was really good. Interestingly enough, this was actually the hospital that I was born at. So it was like I was reborn as I was walking out of those doors. But they took really good care of me there, and overall my experience was really good. Obviously, the food was it's hospital food. One morning I had what was supposed to be an omelet on my plate. It looked more like a floppy piece of skin to me, but it was an omelet, and this morning, I had a biscuit and scrambled eggs. The scrambled eggs, they were cooked to shit. They were rubbery. They were not very good, but you know what? The biscuit, it was a whole wheat biscuit. Can you believe that? They gave me a whole wheat biscuit, and not the best, not the worst. Put a little strawberry jelly on there, and it was edible. My dad graciously brought me a bagel, and I did not think, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I did not think that I would be out of the hospital today. I'm still in shock. So if I sound a little like low energy, a little weird, I was not expecting to be here today. They just gave me a shot in my stomach like a couple hours ago of white blood cells, and then they're like, "Yep, you're good. Do you want a wheelchair? You want us to wheel you out?" I said, "Fuck no." I walked out of there myself. Victory walk, baby. I walked out of there myself. And actually, as I was walking out, there was a harpist playing a harp, and it was really beautiful. It sounded really nice. So that's what I've been up to for the past couple of days. Hopefully, everybody's been well. Hopefully, the listeners haven't been too concerned. I know we have a few regulars now, and I do really appreciate you all listening. And actually, this brings me into my next topic. We have a couple messages, ladies and gentlemen. We have a few people who want to hear or who want to have their voice heard on the Void. And now we're going to respond to them. I do really appreciate the messages, so if we could keep those coming in, that would be fantastic. So let's see what we got to start. We have got this comes from a dear old friend, Melissa. She says, "In honor of our escapades in Satan's tunnel, I got to know if you've ever had any paranormal experiences. Personally, I've had experiences. Whether they were normal or paranormal, I don't know. I think. Look, so for a little bit of background, Satan's Tunnel is this tunnel that's out in Auburn, underneath the highway. Goes underneath Highway 80. It's about, I would say, a quarter of a mile to half a mile long. It's really long. It splits off into two different directions, and if you follow it for long enough, it comes out into this flooded drainage ditch off the side of the highway. But it's called Satan's Tunnel, and it's got a lot of mystery behind it. A lot of creepy things happen in there. A lot of strange graffiti. Really, it's just a place where bums go to do their dirty work. But you know, it's a fun place to go when you're in high school. So we used to go out down there and try and explore it without getting too freaked out. And of course, you know, any little noise that you hear at the end of the tunnel, you're like, hey, what is that? Oh no, we gotta get the fuck out of here. It's like Scooby-Doo. We just take off running. But any paranormal experiences? I'm trying to think. You know, one time me and my buddy, we swear we saw a UFO. I mean, we know we saw a UFO because it was unidentified and it was flying and it was an object. But we swear we saw an alien. Some kind of, well, we don't know if it was an alien. We saw some type of unidentified flying object flying while we were on a hill. It's the highest point in the Sacramento County. We were just kind of night watching, and we swear we saw something, ladies and gentlemen. And I stand by that it was something. We don't know what it was, but I think there's a chance. There's always a chance that it was paranormal. You know, my grandpa has an interesting story about a time where his mom actually was her husband had passed away, and she was sitting at home, and his watch started ticking. Yeah, it started going off in the closet for some strange reason. I think it could have been a dead battery. Who knows? But the watch started moving on its own. She swears it wound by itself. It's super interesting. My grandpa can tell the story way better than I can. Maybe I'll have him on here one day to do that. But it was that's a fun story about, you know, everybody's got a story like that where some strange thing happens and it's coincidental and doesn't mean this, doesn't mean that. I don't know how I feel about the paranormal, ladies and gentlemen. I think because I don't really believe in heaven, I don't really believe in hell, I don't really believe in anything. I'm not a nihilist, but I'm just like, I don't really believe in that anything really means anything. I just believe in coincidence, and it's difficult for me. And I say that now, right? But then as soon as something happens, I'm like, oh shit, that's got to be this. But it's hard for me to talk about paranormal stuff because I personally don't really believe in the paranormal. I believe in the normal. I believe in what's happening in front of me. But I do believe in the metaphysical a little bit more these days, and I do believe that there are things which cannot be explained, and I do believe that there are powers out there which we have not yet tapped into or have previously tapped into in previous civilizations. Because there have been previous civilizations which have definitely tapped into things that we haven't yet. I believe that. I'm not sure about the human sacrifice, though. I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about that. I think we can do without the human sacrifice going forward. Me and my brother were talking about that the other day. We were like, you know, those old civilizations. They really had something going with the breathing techniques. You know, with the metaphysical stuff. You know, they were able to accomplish wonders. And then we thought about it, and we were like, yeah, but the human sacrifice stuff. Don't really know how I feel about that. Zaid wrote in again. Zaid said, even though you left Monterey, what were your favorite moments while attending school there? Being at the beach. I mean, when you're half a mile away from the water, man, it's tough to go to class. I spent a lot of time at the beach. I built a fort while I was at the beach. Whoa, beach. God damn it. These voice cracks, they keep happening. But I'm just gonna say it's because I'm emotional. Just got out of the hospital. Okay, cut me a break. Give me a break. Yeah, I definitely think that spending the time at the beach was amazing. I built a fort while I was there. I was having a tough time in Monterey. You know, I really was lost out there. I was missing home. I was missing my friends, and it was just lonely. It was a lonely time. So I went out there one day, and I just started building a fort in the sand. There were these big logs. They were washed up on the shore. And that beach actually used to be, that whole area used to be a military base, Fort Ord. And it was active until the 90s, I believe. And so there's still a lot of leftover shit there. And there's just this wooden, washed up old wooden, it probably was an old dock or something. And I just took a lot of that wood and I started building a fort in the sand, actually into like the side of the cliffs. And I built a really cool spot for people to go and sit. So all the lovebirds I would be walking on the beach sometimes, and I'd see some lovebirds sitting on my bench that I made, and they'd be kissing, and I'd go, "Ah, I did that. You're welcome. I made the fucking cool spot." That was the only really cool spot that was at that school. There was actually another cool spot. There's two cool spots. There's the spot that I built, which I hope is still there. I hope people are still using. And then there was a spot that, if anyone who goes there, it's called North Quad. It's a place where people live. It's kind of like dorms. And there's a place called Promontory, which was where I lived, which was the palace, the complete palace. It was the nicest place you could live on campus. Very blessed to have gotten to spend my time there in the Promontory. And between the two buildings lies a little thick patch of woods. And inside there's an amazing little sitting smoking area that people went and smoked weed at night. And it had a rope swing. It had a bike hanging out of the trees. It had books there. It was a really cool spot, and it was like one of the only spots like that on campus. There was actually 3. I misspoke. There was a dirty mattress in the woods by the Frisbee golf course, and I think you can imagine what went on there at night. Ugh, get shivers thinking about that one. But yeah, going to school there, I miss it in some ways. But when I really think back on it, I mean, the human mind has an amazing way of blocking out things that we didn't like about when we're at places, and then we leave, and then we grow nostalgic, and time passes, and we forget. And I was just thinking the other day, I was like, man, I kind of miss being at school in Monterey. And then I thought about it, and I was like, no, I don't. It was okay. It was fun. The people that I met there, if you're listening, you're all wonderful. It had nothing to do with you guys. It was all me. I just couldn't handle it, which is okay. We live and we learn. So Zayd, thanks for writing in. Melissa, thank you for writing in today. We have one more person who wrote in today. I got to reopen. Let's see. They actually wrote in through Instagram, which anybody's welcome to do. All right. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. This is coming in from Adam. He has been listening to every episode, which has been fantastic. Thank you so much for that. And he has a question for me. His question is, what is it about film and visual arts that inspires you, and what do you want to improve on in that realm? All right. Well, that is an excellent question, Adam, and I really do appreciate you for listening and for the very kind message that you wrote to me. That wasn't everything Adam wrote to me. Adam wrote me a very long message, and it was really heartfelt, and I really do appreciate it. So thank you, Adam, if you're listening. Really appreciate that. What is it about the film and visual medium that really inspires me? The messages that it can send to people. I mean, I think that it can it is a format of communication that is, I think, quite possibly the most effective, because you have music. Music is an extremely powerful medium, as I'm sure Adam knows. Adam's a very talented musician, and when you combine that with the visual, you can really manipulate the way the audience feels, and when I say manipulate, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean it in the best way possible. You can really craft and create a really emotional piece when you have the audio and the visual, which is why I think concerts are the best when they have both images and the music happening at the same time. Pink Floyd light shows, baby. I've never been to one. I've never been to a concert. The only concert I've been to was a ukulele concert. I'm not a big concert guy. I'm not a big crowded places kind of person. But I would imagine that the best concerts are the ones with amazing visuals and amazing music. And for me, movies are the same way. So what inspires me is really just the format, the communication. And maybe this isn't a good answer because it doesn't sound inspiring, but I think it's the potential that it has to inspire hope and inspire other people and to make other people feel good And, when I talk about the Lord of the Rings, I talk about that trilogy as, it really makes me feel good. It makes me feel amazing. And it's because of the medium. So that's why film and visual arts inspires me. And what do I want to improve on in that realm? Everything. I've got a lot to learn. I know I worked as a video director, but I was doing commercials basically. I was in the commercial world. I wasn't in the filmmaking world. I have done a short documentary, but and it won a couple awards. But I do really think that I see a lot of flaws in it, and I've got a lot to improve on. So the thing I would like to improve on the most is just the camera work, because that's everything for me on my end. Because I reach out to other people to do the music, but the camera work for me is got to be everything, because that is everything. I think if anyone's interested in going to film school or interested in the visual arts, I would recommend picking up a camera and just learning how to use it, and learning. And I mean manual mode. I don't mean automatic mode. I mean like learn exposure, learn shutter speed, and practice, baby. Learn the aperture. You can do so much. You can do so much with shutter speed. I mean, look. I should have my buddy Clayton on, because he knows a lot more than I do about cameras, but they're an amazing tool. They really are. So that's it for the messages today, ladies and gentlemen. But I really do appreciate the three of you for writing in, keeping things interesting. Love that. I really do. So there is a happy ending to the story that I started earlier about the hospital, about the barbecue. Today, I was not expecting to get out today. I was expecting today to be kind of a bummy day in the hospital. And today was the day that we were supposed to all do the barbecue. So I'm out. Which means the barbecue's on, baby. We're going to be out there. We're going to be cooking up some burgies, some hamburgers, and some sausage. And we're just going to be celebrating life today. Today is the day that we celebrate life. We celebrate health. We celebrate friendship and fellowship. And we celebrate all things that are good. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to end. I think I'm going to head to my barbecue, but I do really appreciate all the listens. Take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones, and goodbye.